Alright, that should be going live. Now I'm going to grab the URL and share it around a little bit. Okay, drop one for the research library. Bump. Now let's drop one for my people over here. There it is. Oh, hello, David Eddles. First one on the stream. That was quick. I usually don't have people showing up within the first minute.
You got that notification.
You're new to the channel in Discord, aren't you? I don't recall seeing you in chat before. Of course, that could also just be because it's been a very long time since I've actually been able to live stream, because it's been very, very busy IRL. Anyway, what we're doing today is we're continuing the post-game of MegaMan Battle Network 1, which is basically just round up all of the battle chips out in, well, that are still out there in the game to be found. The only real post-game here is collect all the battle chips and then fight base.exe as the secret super boss, and, well, that's pretty much all there is for the first game, because, you know, a lot of people have said that the first game is pretty much just like an alpha build of what Battle Network 2 was, and in retrospect, I can't say they're entirely wrong on that. But I'm with my buddy StarCrossedsouls here today. We're going to talk about Anime Weekend Atlanta 2023 while we play. The link to his channel should be in the description of this live stream, so you should be able to pop over there, check him out as well whenever we're done here, or have him go at the same time if you want to be a true gamer. So, how was your weekend? Like, how did you like how the con went down?
Oh, how did I like how the con went?
Yeah.
Overall, I had such a blast. I had such a good time, and some of it was just vibing with my friends, and some of it was the convention overall did go pretty well this year, better than it did last year for sure. The only day that had anything really negative happen was Thursday. But it's taken me some time to kind of process everything, because there were a few things that, like, it's literally taken me all week to kind of comprehend how it made me feel. And I'll kind of go into more detail as we go here. But overall, I thought that in spite of our initial anxiety and apprehension around the new changes that were made to the con, they were all very, very effective. And I think a lot of people will be like, oh, well, why didn't they just do that all along? Why didn't they always have registration where it was? Or why didn't they always have people checking for badges and, enforcing anti-lobby conning a lot more? And I think the answer to that, unfortunately, is that costs money. You're having to pay for the paychecks of the outside contracted security people,
Of course.
which the convention had to pay for, according to a source that I have. And that's just overhead that the con was not able to do in previous years, and this year the hotel forced their hand. So, but it resulted in a very well-ran convention, but I'm sure it was one that hurt their pocketbooks.
I will say things were a lot more smooth. There were a couple of areas where it felt the most disorganized that I've ever seen. Namely, the first 30 minutes of the Super Happy Fun sale, which for those in the chat, basically this convention in particular has it's basically a nerdy yard sale. It's a 4-day convention that takes place Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and on Thursday, rather than having a full dealer's room, they have con-goers can purchase a booth and sell some of their collectibles that they don't need anymore, and it was extremely crowded in there. I am not exaggerating when I say that I stood in the middle of an aisle for no less than 10 minutes without moving in either direction, simply because there was nowhere to move. I could not move forward, backwards, sideways, anyway, because there was no policing the traffic. Later on there was, but within the first 30 minutes, there was none of that. Devilman the Hero pops in and says, "How are we doing?" I'm doing pretty well today. Like I was telling David earlier, we are just kind of having a chill stream while I continue to grind for the battleships here, and we're talking about the convention that me and CJ over there just got back from. David says that they watched some of the Iceberg videos and a couple live streams, don't engage much. Oh, okay, yes. See, I thought the name was kind of familiar, but I couldn't place it properly. Well, thank you for sticking around and keeping with us even after content slowed down a bit. Yeah, kind of like a swap meet on the first day, and it's really good. I found more stuff there than I actually found in the dealer's room that I was interested in, but again, it was very claustrophobic. So, CJ, what'd you think about some of the hostilities from the hotel and Galleria staff? Not necessarily the AWA staff, but the people who ran the venue. Like, there was a bit of more hostility toward congoers than there have been in recent years, from my understanding.
Well, real quick, I wanted to comment on what you had mentioned about the Super Happy Fun Sale. I unfortunately didn't get to go to the Super Happy Fun Sale this year because it lined up poorly with some other plans that I had, and when we were trying to get in line for it, there was just no hope. And we're used to that at this point. The line being, tremendous, and sometimes we get in early by assisting some of our friends that are selling in there, helping them set up their table, and we get in there early as a result, and we can kind of chat up with some of the other vendors in there. But being shoulder to shoulder with everybody is not unusual. What's probably unusual is from what you explained to me before, it's like they weren't metering people in and out of the room, because in the past it's like they reach capacity on the room and they say no more people in until people leave, right?
Yeah, they did not do that this year. Additionally, they didn't even use the entire room. There was a good, I want to say, bare minimum a quarter of the room that was not being used at all. It's like the stages are folded up off to the side, but they weren't using it. And I get sometimes you can't use the entire room, sometimes you gotta put things in different places, but it's in the same room that it was last year, to my recollection.
Yeah, that's actually pretty common too, where they don't use the back half of the room where the stage is. That's not entirely unusual, but yeah, I'm actually really surprised, especially with all the additional security staffing they had, that they didn't have people metering the capacity of the room, and that it was just a free-for-all. But like I said, I was not privy to that because I didn't get a chance to go see it. So the hostility thing, again, I don't really feel like it was all that bad, because I think that there is a lot of people who are not doing what they're supposed to be doing. And it doesn't hurt to be a little bit more strict on certain things. But the one thing that has always been true about AWA that has always kind of bothered me is the fact that there is always going to be a disparity between convention staff, hotel staff, Galleria staff, and the security contractors that do the perimeter of the building, which includes the park where we usually do all the photography in previous years.
Yes.
So you have 4 different entities, 4 different authorities who are all in charge of something different, and they can never agree with each other about what their objectives are, or who's in charge of what. And to me, that has always presented a problem. And I'll go back to a previous year where there's that really famous shot of the fake group that is in the Galleria entrance, and that big open circular area with the 2 big staircases on either side when you first walk into the front doors of the Galleria side. And we were just in the center of that for that photo shoot. And there's a great shot, from the second floor looking down at us. And AWA used that photo to promote their official photo shoot submissions for the next subsequent year. And then the convention happens, and the Galleria staff says, "You can't shoot down here, you're in the way."
Oh.
And so it's like, nobody knows what's going on. Nobody's on the same page of anything, and it's just you can't possibly plan for those types of things, because again, there's a lot of people you got to coordinate with, a lot of people you got to communicate with, and then somebody from the convention might say it's fine, and then somebody from the Galleria might throw their weight around and say, "Oh no, it's not okay. You're blocking stuff." And the vice versa as well. And any number of disparities between policies can occur when you have that many different entities of authority. And that is kind of a consequence of the venue, but it's not one that is
Insurmountable.
completely unheard of. It's a little less common when you have a con in a hotel. Like the Dragon Con hotels are a lot more consistent about that stuff, and you're only dealing with con staff and hotel staff. You're not dealing with all these other entities.
Yeah. Sorry, everyone. My throat's still a little bit scratchy. I'm getting over a sinus infection right now. MegaMaster195 says that they were in line but left for dinner plans. I believe they're one of the ones who joined up on the channel after the MegaMan panel. Is that correct, MegaMaster?
He actually went with me to the Marietta Diner.
Oh, okay. All right, so he's one of your friends.
Yeah. But he, I don't think he made it to your panel, unfortunately, because he would have been on. He was on my panel, so that might have been part of the reason why. Well,
the panel has been recorded, posted to YouTube, and posted to the AWA page. So if anyone missed it, then they can go watch it there. How are the audio levels, by the way? I got the game running, I got my microphone running, I got CJ's mic running. Is everything coming through okay? Like, is one too loud over the others, or don't need to make any adjustments, or does it sound good on that end? Well, I will say, I don't feel bad cheating at this game in particular because, I don't know if you knew this one, CJ, but it's an RPG game. This one does not give you the ability to run away in the first game, and because all I'm doing is trying to collect, battle chips from enemies, and some bosses are random encounters. I am not above abusing save states on the Wii U version, which is the one that I'm playing. So if we go like another 5 minutes without me encountering the boss that I'm looking for, then I'm just going to load up a save state that I had previously and just fight him until I get the chip that I need. Because, yeah, I will defend Battle Network 1 for having really good story beats and a lot of really cool weapons to use, but it is it's the game of the series that has aged the most poorly in retrospect, especially when you compare it to all the other ones that are on the Legacy Collection. So I'm probably going to cheat here in a little bit. Some reason chat box wasn't popping up for Bree. It looks like it's up now, though. Hi, Bree. Welcome to the stream. Alright, they say the volume sounds fine. Alright, good. Okay. Did there seem to be fewer numbers, like a smaller number of people at AWA this year, or was it just me? Because, again, things weren't nearly as crowded as they are in the past, except for the Super Happy Fun Sale, but that also made the con feel significantly more empty. Or were they just that better at directing traffic flow?
Oh no, I think that actually was one of my favorite things about this AWA is I feel like it is directly related to the crowd mitigations with the fact that they denied access to the venue from anybody that's not a badge holder. And I don't think they ever quite got to the point where it was like where the wristbands were enforced. But they were denying access to the venue from anybody that wasn't a badge holder. And to me, that was huge because it's like you don't realize what a problem you have with lobby conning until you do something about it. And oh my god, it was like it was 6 years ago again, and the con was back to its old self. And this is why I get so irritated when people who started going to the con in like 2021 propagate this bullshit rumor of like it's outgrowing its venue. It's not outgrowing the venue. There's just a bunch of people that don't need to be there, and the ignorance on display. Oh my god, there were people posting in the Facebook group being like, when did they start stopping people from going in that don't have a badge? I wanted to meet people at the bar. And it's like, you can shut up now. Like, where have you been the last several months? Have you not been like informing yourself of all of the new policy updates that have been like the focal point of all of our discussion for the last several weeks?
I'm all for hanging out in the hotel lobby, but if you are a con goer or if you are already staying at the hotel, people coming from the outside, I will say I think 1 or 2 is kind of harmless, especially if they happen to hear about the event being in town. But the problem is, if you let 1 or 2 in, you gotta let everybody in. So then that's when lobby kind of gets out of hand. I do miss the big dance parties we used to have down there, like the DJ and like the whole mosh pit and all that. That was always a highlight of the con for me. We didn't get that this year. There's none of that. And I don't get it
one bit. I was on the 3rd floor of the Waverly this year, and I never had an issue with the music being too loud or going on until 2 a.m. Like 11 o'clock or whatever rolled around, and they shut it off, and because the convention was in complete control of it, and I thought that was great.
Yeah. I will also say I've only stayed at the host hotel like once or twice during all the years I've gone to AWA, so that's not a problem that I would face. But I miss it when I'm okay with shutting the music down when it gets late. You know, let everyone go to sleep. But it's also a thing of we as con-goers also have to remember that the hotel is first and foremost a hotel. Just because it's hosting a convention doesn't mean that we are the only guests there. David asks, is Sneak Run in Battle Network 1? It is not. Sub-chips were introduced in Battle Network 2. So I just have to run around and I have to keep getting these random encounters until I eventually find Stone Man. I have Stone Man V1 and V3. I just need the V2 chip. Which, again, I don't have the Sneak Run, which makes small enemies harder to encounter. And I don't have Locate Enemy, which makes it easier to track enemies I just fought. So that's why Battle Network 1 is a bit janky when it comes to this kind of stuff. Visible anger you saw on your face when you showed me the post still makes me laugh. That was from Mega Master over here. Lobby comments getting on hand. Don't want them hitting on us cosplayers at the bar. Yeah. Yeah, and I've heard from multiple sources that I don't even know if they were actual con goers or if they were just people who just showed up just to hang out at the bar. But there have been some very unsavory interactions go on in that lobby.
I guess I need to pull up the chat here and see what everybody's talking about.
Right. What you got going on your stream over there on your end?
What, me?
Yes.
I'm actually not streaming at all.
I am just on Discord call.
Yeah, I am. I'm sorting cards and I'm going through a bunch of stuff with trying to. I'll kind of go into more detail here in a second, but I'm. There was a lot of correction of errors in terms of the photo shoots from this year. None of the photo shoots went poorly at all, but there's some correction of errors, and it's stuff about the structure of like social media and how we go about like promoting the photo shoots that I'm starting to question and trying to figure out like an alternative to it. And so we were like brainstorming like crazy in the Fire Emblem Discord today, trying to figure out the solutions. And we're talking about implementing a lot of really cool changes. There are actually changes that I had in mind when before COVID for the Fate group, and then COVID well, first of all, the first problem was nobody was really helping me with them. I had a bunch of lofty ideas that required a lot of time and money, and nobody was investing that into the group at the time. Yeah. And then COVID happened, and it put all of that to a stop. Like, all of that is grinding to a halt. So
finally found the boss that I was looking for. Alright, I hope that was enough time and damage to only get a mid-rank, so that way I can get his V2 battle chip. Or I could just get money and let's reload that save state.
I'm gonna try to open the stream and not create a feedback loop here. Yeah, just wanna read the chat.
Right. Now, I actually did this one off-screen a while back, but I didn't save the progress because I wasn't streaming it. I think I timed it to where it's maybe 3 turns and taking 2 or 3 hits will sometimes yield the battle chip. It is also RNG in addition to how you perform during the fight. So
I gotta say, I don't know if there's anything you've talked about in your videos on Battle Network, but the sprite animations for some of these enemies are really charming.
Oh, yeah.
And just really well done.
I absolutely agree. Especially in the first 3 games, they put a lot of effort into Mega Man specifically because he was the only playable character. However, when we reached Battle Network 4, they introduced more playable characters, but because of the smaller cartridge space on the Game Boy Advance, they couldn't always have all the same animations. So a lot of the weapons and abilities you could use are streamlined. And while in the first 3 games you had things like, in addition to the busters and cannons and bomb throwing, you also had things like pickaxe swings, roundhouse kicks, a bunch of unique animations. All those were thrown out starting with the 4th game when they made multiple playable characters, or multiple playable character sprites. And they just had to streamline it to save space on the cartridge. And while some of the colors and character designs are much more brighter and vibrant starting with the 4th game, the first 3 is where the heart and soul of it really shined through. There we go, Stoneman V2, finally. Right.
Yeah, it's kind of how I feel about we've had this. I don't know if we've had this conversation before, but I talk about this a lot. How I feel like in Pokemon Black and White 2, you have these like beautifully animated 2D sprites for the battles, and then we get to X and Y and it goes fully 3D. And even though they're like nice 3D models, you lose all the magic when you go to 3D. Like it just doesn't. They're just not nearly as charming or as don't have as much personality. Mega Master here in chat is saying, he's like, thank you for friending me on Discord, even though we could have done it forever ago. I don't know what it. So I'm trying to make a group chat for this this cosplay group thing, but what's funny is, you can interact with somebody on Discord for years and not actually be friended to them. It's so wild. I don't understand how that happens.
Okay, that's the wrong area. I need to pull up a map here because Battle Network 1 also doesn't have a comprehensive map. I'm trying to remember where I need to get to Internet Area 5. And actually, I don't think I need to leave that area just yet. I can get there through Internet 9, apparently. Yeah. So I'm hunting different battle chips. Like I have a list of chips that I need, and I have where to get them written down. And a big problem with this first game is that when you're on the Greater Internet, which is like the secondary overworld, everything looks the same. It's got the same background. It's got the same music. It's got the same like roadway designs. There is no distinguishing anything, and that's a real problem. The first game, they corrected it in the second game, thankfully, but it's a big problem in this first one when you have absolutely no idea where you're going. So the DS remake did give you a mini map on the bottom screen to help you navigate a bit, but it's really easy to get lost and disoriented here. So that's why I took a pause for a minute to pull up the maps that I have bookmarked. So I need to get to Internet 5. What's the next chip on my list? I don't think that character is actually here. Where's the next boss that I'm trying to find? It's Internet 6. That's Electman. What about Internet 4? Oh, I did not mean to click that. Whoops.
It's weird. It must be like a privacy thing where you can enable like not being able to receive DMs on your Discord if you are not friends with somebody. Like that might be a privacy setting or something.
Internet Area 9. Okay. I had it written down in my notes wrong, so I can still go this way. Okay. That's the wrong button. Go back. Okay. Oh, it's
All right, so I guess I'll go ahead and go into detail about this this thing that this thorn in my side from AWA. So I attended 4 photo shoots, whether or not I was, well, I guess technically 5, although one of them I didn't really get a chance to make it to, but it was in order, there was the Ava photo shoot, and then the Fate one, and then the Final Fantasy one, and then the Fire Emblem one, and then the Yu-Gi-Oh one. And all of these had a pretty significant decrease in attendance over their previous cons, whether it be AWA last year or MomoCon this year. And I tried to rack my brain around why that was, and they all went well, but there was a noticeable decrease in people, or there was a lot of people that I saw around the con who were in cosplays for those series that didn't make it to the photo shoot. And that always happens, like that's inevitable, because not everybody even wants to go to a photo shoot, and that's a whole nother conversation I had as well as part of my correction of errors thing.
Yes.
But there was just so many people walking around in those cosplays that didn't go to those photo shoots, and I was like, this is really irritating, especially because some of these people that I talked to wanted to go, but they gave me answers like, oh, I didn't know there was one, or I don't know where it is. And there were even some people where I would tell them where it is, and they couldn't find it. And I found that particularly frustrating because the photo shoot location that I picked for Fate and for Fire Emblem, and you saw it when you were there for the Fate one, is the largest official photo shoot location they gave us that year, and it is very centralized. Like, it's pretty hard not to know where that is. Like, 200 One Piece fans found out where that is. How is, like, the random Rin and Shiro walking around not able to find this place? It's really frustrating. So,
to be fair, though, I was hosting the Star Wars photo shoot, and I had no idea where my location was, and I had to have you show me because you know the venue better than I do.
Yeah, and like I just feel like that's a problem, and so that kind of boils down to, you know, how if you don't know where one of these locations is, how do you find that information? Well, it's all available on the AWA Photo Shoots Facebook group. And it is available on the spreadsheet for the photo shoots and the submission forum. When you go and submit your photo shoot, there's like a map that shows you where it is. And then if you submitted a photo shoot, you can go to the wherever the office thing is for the programming track, and they'll give you a map of the venue to tell you where it is. So there's resources out there. The problem is people don't use them, or they can't use them. They have a hard time finding the information, and part of that I attribute to the fact that the Facebook groups are fucking useless because they're constantly full of like memes and spam and just awful garbage takes, and people don't want to use it. And then that led me down, that line of thought led me down this rabbit hole of like, well, hang on. I think people are just sick of social media in general. Like, they're really fatigued on a lot of these major platforms because, you know, if you remember, you're old enough to remember back in the day before we had, you know, some of these monolithic platforms like Twitter and Instagram and TikTok and all that stuff. We had a lot more like internet forums and a lot more unique websites that we went to, and it was normal for us to have like a browser window open with like 6 tabs of all the forums we had to check that day. And nowadays it's like, oh, I just have Facebook and Twitter open and that's it. And so these monolithic platforms got us off of forums, and they killed all these websites, and they made this monopoly on the internet, and now they all suck. Because Mark Zuckerberg lied to us about, you know, pivoting to video as the next direction, and he tried to make Facebook into a video platform, and everybody hates it because the only thing people make on there is spam, stolen content, and wannabe viral content, and you can't scroll past 2 posts on your Facebook feed without seeing either an ad or a video you didn't ask to see, and the ratio between posts from people you follow and pages you follow versus people and pages you don't follow, or videos that are just completely irrelevant to what you follow, it's like not at all equitable. It's like almost all spam,
Correct.
And so nobody wants to use the platform anymore because it sucks. And so trying to have all of the information about where to find this and where to find that at the con tied to this platform is just not going to work. And the app as well, people are like, well, you can just use the convention's built-in app.
Yeah, whenever you can actually get signal out there. There was no signal.
The option is garbage.
Now, I'm all for saving paper when you can, but if you're going to go, app only save the trees, then how about you actually make sure that the app will work with a stable internet connection? I missed. Whoops. But
yeah, I don't think that's a promise they can even keep. And Dragon Con in all of their might still has paper program guides, and they do an app every single year. But they still have paper program guides.
It also really doesn't help that the app, like the schedule, was inconsistent because there were several panels that were not even listed that were still going on. And it also didn't help that the map on the map on the app was next to incomprehensible because it was a floor plan map without any, noticeable landmarks. It's just like, yes, it takes place in this vague general vicinity. Here's a couple of shapes. That's all you get. Alright. Got Colorman V2, now I just gotta get V3, and then I think I'm done with this area. Then I can move on to the next area. Now
I just feel like part of the reason why and if you look at the other social media platforms as well, it's like Twitter sucks. It's the same thing. It's all ads and shit you don't want to see, and Elon Musk is strangling the life out of it, slowly suffocating it, and we all hate it. Instagram has a tagging system for the con where you can tag posts about the con, but that's not a way for the convention itself to deliver information. And so it's how do you do it? And
they're like, I don't even use Instagram. People were getting pictures of my Darth Maul cosplay. They're asking, hey, what's your Insta? I was like, I don't have one. They're like, what? I was like, yeah, I don't. I mean, I have an account, but I never post on it.
Yeah.
Because that was back when, you remember, I was on that kick of actually wanting to, be, an actual dedicated con photographer. Do you remember that little small stretch? But then I decided, I'd rather just attend the cons. Yes, I'll take my own photos, but it's I created that page to be a con photography page, and I just wouldn't get any use out of it. So, yes, I have one, but I never use it. And honestly, I don't have any purpose to use it. It's just... I just don't.
So, here's something else. Here's another Facebook is garbage kind of thing. So, even the conventions themselves, they know the platform is garbage. So I'm having all these thoughts about okay, Facebook groups suck, they're unreliable, nobody engages with them because they know they suck. And then MetroCon, the convention in Tampa, Florida, one of the biggest Florida anime cons, makes a post literally again the same day I'm having all these thoughts, and they say we're deleting our Facebook page. It's unbelievable, dude. If you read this, it is absolutely unbelievable. So they say, in short, Facebook has made this untenable. Currently, we have 15,700 members. Earlier this year, when we crossed 16,000, I went in and removed around 3,000 accounts were obvious spam accounts and bots that had all joined in the prior few months. In the screenshot below, there are one or two real people, but they are outnumbered by accounts that Facebook has already suspended for being spam accounts. And trust me, they do not catch very many in the grand scheme of things, despite how many I and our team of moderators have reported. Facebook took away the ability to deny membership requests, so we had to turn on post approvals. So anyone who has ever posted or made a comment had to be screened. Again, mind you that all while going on, this is spewing at a 100 to 1 ratio, and they go on and on and on from there. But can you believe that shit? Even one of the conventions is we can't do this anymore. This sucks. We're switching to Discord. And then, if that wasn't bad enough, literally the very next post beneath that is someone on my feed being like, hey, I'm selling my concert tickets. They're on these dates. Make sure to message me if you're interested in purchasing them, blah, blah, blah.
And you're just like, case in point.
The person that owns this account is dead.
Oh. Oh.
So
That's
a
unsettling.
bot or a spam account or something has, if the account's been like left inactive for so long, these bots and these hackers are just stealing the accounts of literal dead people to promote their scams. So it's, you know, you've created this monolithic monopoly of a platform that's supposed to preserve all of our memories of our social interactions in our lives with our friends and family, and we can't even properly like preserve the legacy of somebody that's dead by keeping their account untouched as they left it. This is a fucking nightmare dystopia that we live in, man. Like, this is insane.
So the dead girlfriend keeps messaging me on Facebook creepypasta just suddenly got less terrifying. So
yeah, I mean, it's stuff like this where every day I feel like we live in a dystopian sci-fi novel. Like, we really do.
Devin says this is the virtual console version. Yep. Yeah, I bought the Wii U and all the games on here before the Legacy Collection got announced, and I've been doing a playthrough of this before we did our co-op stream. By we, I mean me and Rio on the game a while back, so I figured just go ahead and finish this out on stream, even though I've already got a no commentary walkthrough posted. And this is just an easy way to gather footage for another video I'm doing later, and I'm going to do a comparison video of every version I get my hands on for this game, but I also just need general footage of this game for later videos anyway, so that's why I'm playing on the Wii U instead of the Switch or PS4. Alright, okay, where do I need to go next? Need to get to the Undernet, but the Undernet is like impossible to find because, again, nothing's labeled here.
What is this thing that's in the background of this? It looks like either in a lowercase e or a 6 or something. Like, what is it?
I think it's meant to be an E, you know, kind of like Internet Explorer. That's why it's got the little thing circling it. This game came out in 2001, if that tells you anything.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just find that very funny.
Yeah.
Just, the background is constantly just E.
Can I... Okay, yeah, I can go back this way. I don't know why on the map it always says one way to take that road, but apparently that's not correct, so... Again, with these constant random encounters. But, yeah.
So here's my grief with Discord, though. Discord is such an awesome platform in a lot of ways. The ways in which you can organize groups and create chats for different things is like no other platform I've ever used in the past. It's better than it's better than forums. It's better than Skype. It's better than Messenger, like group chats on Facebook. It is so much more intuitive than any of that crap. But it's so good, and it's used by so many people. It's adopted by so many people for so many purposes that what people do is they join like 1 million servers and then just mute all of them and never talk to any of them, completely making the fact that they're using the platform redundant. And that is so irritating to me. Like, I have friends where they've like shown me something on their phone, and I'll see like just 1 million little red ones on, or like 20 red notifications on the side of their screen or more, and I'm like, you don't ever look at this, do you? Why do you use this? Even I'm gonna call you out as well. When you showed a screenshot of the Fate server earlier, and like every single channel you've never looked at, it's all like there's a notification like every single channel, and I'm like, again, my rest my case of like nobody uses it. It's so fresh. It's like the best platform we have, and nobody actually engages with it.
To present the other side, it's also very easy to get spammed with a lot of notifications all at once, and sometimes you just don't want to deal with that. Especially back when I was playing Fate Grand Order and I need to record off my phone, I can't have notifications popping up like every 5 seconds. You know, like, even back with Facebook, that was a problem. But it's...
Oh yeah, no, I totally agree as
Yes.
well. Like you wanna reduce the chatter because it can get overwhelming super quickly. But like none of the servers I'm in are like that active. I think we have a pretty much perfect balance with the cosplay groups to where they're not super loud. Like there's like daily chatter, but it's very manageable. I think the Fire Emblem one and the Ava one right now are pretty much equal in terms of like there's quite a few people that have been consistently active for a while, but it is very digestible. And I have a lot of servers I don't look at either. Like I have servers for Yu-Gi-Oh that are for certain deck archetypes, so I can go in there and see what people are tweaking with. But I don't ever like talk in there. I just use them occasionally to see what people have been getting up to with a particular strategy. But yeah, my Discord is positively like clean compared to most people I know. Like most people I know have like a million servers and they never look at any of them.
Now, one thing I find frustrating is when I don't get the notifications for my own Discord server on my phone. And
yeah,
like people will make some comments that, you know, I'd like to reply to, but I won't get the notification until like 3 days later, or if at all. I just happen to pop in to, you know, just throw something out there. Then it's like, hey, there's been a conversation going on for like 3 days, and I missed part of it. And sometimes they were addressing me directly, and I was like, well, I'm really sorry, I never got the notification.
Yeah. And
that's probably just an issue with my phone instead of actually Discord itself, because my phone is kind of old because I refuse to upgrade to anything that doesn't have a home button. I refuse. No, I'm not doing that. I'm an old man. I like my buttons. Let's see. Yeah, let's go ahead and get the Aqua Armor because I don't have that yet. I think I have all these battle chips, and I don't have enough money for any HP memories. So.
But yeah, so
check the map.
I think the conclusion we came to is that Discord is the best platform we have, and we can't, while we can't force people to engage with it and use it, it's still the best one we have out of all of them. And it is going to continue to be the best one for organizing cosplay meetups and having like a sort of chat room for the fan bases. And so we want to nurture that as best we can. And so we're trying to figure out ways that we can do that without having to rely on these other garbage platforms like Facebook. I had initially an idea of having a dedicated website that would be just like a Southeast cosplay website where all of these organized groups could just link their Discords on that site. And then my friend Alicia had the idea for a link tree thing, which is what a lot of people do to like link all of their socials on one thing. So you can just click on their link tree thing and there's a link to their Twitter, their Facebook, their Instagram, their OnlyFans, whatever. And so that sounds like something we can do as well, is make like a link tree and it has a link to the Discord for Fate, Fire Emblem, Yu-Gi-Oh, Evangelion, Final Fantasy, etc. And and even Genshin, like we know the person that runs the Genshin group. So what I think we're going to do, we're going to make those link trees, and then we're going to I want to make some business cards for each of the cosplay groups that have the QR codes on them and like a description of what the group is. So that people can actually just scan the QR code to join the group. There's been some clumsiness at some of the shoots, and I should have done something about this years ago. But there's been a bit of clumsiness when it comes to I tell people, hey, we have this group, and I tell them, hey, come to me if you want the info. And then they do that, and I have to be like, hey, or take a picture of this Facebook group, search for it later, join it, and then find the link to the Discord in that Facebook group. And that just that's very inconvenient, whereas I can just hand them a business card with a QR code.
Right. David says that they have to get off here real quick. Well, thank you for popping in, and I hope you have a good rest of the night. Yeah, I doubled back because I actually went the wrong way. My next target is getting Electman V2, and I went to the wrong area. So I'm going back over here, and I'm gonna go in this direction until I get everything I need, then I'll go back the way that I came. So let me check, see, I'm pretty sure I got Electman V1 already. I've already fought his V2 version. Yes, I have. And after I get all of Electman's chips, I still gotta get Bomb Man and Magic Man, so I gotta find where they're located at too. I think Electman is the only chip in this area that I need. But yeah, this is kind of a slow going process, but I'm glad that you all are sticking out with me.
But yeah, how did your Star Wars meetup go?
Smaller than I would have hoped, but I suppose being on Sunday and considering that we left almost immediately afterward as well, I can't really blame anybody for how small it was. Like, it was Sunday 2 o'clock. What I'm saying though is, like, it probably would have been bigger if it wasn't for those weird quirks of the con. I do think that some of the traffic controlling that they were doing was a little heavy-handed. Like, I get you don't want to crowd hallways, but do we have to, like, completely walk around the other way to get back to the main area? Like, when it's been the other direction for the past, like, 7 years. Like, the way they had some of the hallways laid out. I like that change. I thought that was good. Just the fact that they partitioned off that hallway, I thought was a really good idea. Electman EXE is one of Devin's favorite Robot Master redesigns. I absolutely agree. You want to talk about characters who get a glow up from Classic to EXE? Electman is up there with, like, top tier character redesigns. Burnerman as well is, like, super high on my list of best Battle Network character designs. I think one character that kind of suffered a downgrade, at least in my personal opinion, is Magic Man. That's just because I think his original form was, like, extremely stylish. Whereas the new one is just kind of like generic, creepy, dark wizard looking thing. Whereas the other one was like a magician. It's like Zatanna, like from DC, you know, like a performing magician. It's got like the whole card motif, the top hat and all that. It was really, really cool looking. But that's just my opinion. And everyone can have their own thoughts on this. Now, I know Electman's got to be in this area somewhere. But yeah, it was a really fun Star Wars meet. We got a ton of photos, and even though we only had like a small handful of cosplayers, I think there was like 13 total, maybe. It was still fun. No regrets on that end. So that's honestly pretty good. It's still way more than our Yu-Gi-Oh group did. I think our Yu-Gi-Oh group was maybe 5 people, because it was 6 people exactly. And I know there were people at the con that didn't go, like, that we missed. So I suppose we should talk about the inevitability of next year. So how are we feeling about Christmas AWA next year? I'll be real, and I know that nobody who is involved in the organization of the con wants to hear this, because they've been dealing with nonstop negativity since the announcement was made. But I haven't talked to a single person that is in favor of the decision. I think that everybody, I mean, I'm not that crazy about the GWCC. I do admit that it's the best alternative venue that is available. So I'm not going to fight that one. But as far as the December time slot, the Christmas time slot, so many people have already told me they can't go, including some people that I roomed with and hung out with this year, have all said I can't go next year. I straight up cannot go next year. It's too close to Christmas. I have, family obligations or whatever. Yeah, I believe that, and honestly, like, this is going to be mean and a bit savage, but a lot of people who are saying, oh, it's not that big a deal, you make bad financial decisions in October, you're going to make them in December too. And I'm like, so you must not have a lot of family interactions in December then, if you think that is the only issue. Like, trying to compare Halloween to Christmas in terms of, like, I guess holiday relevance, I get that to a person you might prefer a holiday one over the other, but the overwhelming majority of people will put more effort into visiting their family on Christmas than they do on Halloween. So it's not even comparable. It's like, yes, we have Holiday Matsuri, but the thing is, a lot of people go to Holiday Matsuri, and they're going to pick Holiday Matsuri over AWA Christmas because they already go to Holiday Matsuri. They've already put aside the resources for that. And
well, what's funny about that too is that the fact that Hallmat had quirky dates this year as well, and it resulted in a lot of people that couldn't go, even like local Floridians, and so yeah, it being really close to Christmas is a big problem. But what I'm worried about happening is that it's basically going to split AWA and Hallmat, where the Georgia people are not going to go to Hallmat and the Florida people aren't going to come to AWA, and people that are traveling are going to have to pick one or the other. But yeah, no, I just think it's like currently what me and Michelle have talked about doing is literally doing like Friday and Saturday and driving back and forth each day and not even getting a hotel.
Ooh.
Because I still want to attempt to have our designated meetups if there's enough people that are still going in spite of the bad dates.
Oh, you're talking about for AWA, not for Hallmat. Okay, I was about to say.
Yeah, for AWA 2024.
About to say, I'm closer to Florida than you are, and that's a drive for me. I've never made it because honestly, I don't like the idea of going to Florida. It doesn't sound like a pleasant place. But
it's literally fine. Like the venue for Hallmat is so nice, but unfortunately, it won't be at that venue anymore after this year.
And I will also say that I want to give AWA the benefit of the doubt that the only reason that they had to have it on Christmas for next year and the year after is because when you book a new venue, other people already have their time slots booked, so that was all that was available. I want to give them the benefit of the doubt, just as an outsider looking in, I'm going to assume that's what it was, because otherwise I feel like it was a very poor decision. If that was the only decision you could make, then if you want to keep the con alive, you kind of got no choice. I'm not super hyped about the venue, but I also am not opposed to the venue itself. I don't like the area around the venue. That's the best way I can describe my feelings on that. That's the sketchy part of Georgia. I don't like that.
Yeah, a lot of people are sharing that sentiment, but it'll literally be fine. Like I don't think that's going to be a deal breaker at all, honestly.
No, I don't think it's going to be a deal breaker because MomoCon happens every year. But one thing I was kind of upset about is, I love the Holiday Inn, not sponsored by the way, but there is one that's very close to the GWC, but they don't offer shuttle service to it, and that was one of the things I loved about the Cobb Galleria, because they offer it over there. I couldn't stay there this year because it just got too expensive, but it's unfortunate. Things change and they're not always for the best. Probably have lower attendance because of the change of date. Absolutely. At least for the first year, at least for the first 2 years. Only thing to go to Florida would be CEO Otaku and then the FGC friends. I know Electman's got to be around here somewhere. Yeah, I don't know if you're watching my screen, CJ, but a lot of bosses in this are random encounters as well, and I've already defeated his first form, so he's a random encounter now. So that means that I just gotta keep running around until he shows himself. Fortunately, being this late in the game, I do have a lot of area of effect chips that can just take out everything in one strike. But I still have to keep stopping because I can't run away from anything. There is a battle chip that I could use to run away, but that just takes up an extra chip slot that I really shouldn't have to sacrifice. I will say that if we do end up going to AWA next year, because I've always wanted to go to Hallmat, just because I thought it'd be pretty cool, but it was a matter of we gotta save up the money, you gotta put aside the time, make sure it doesn't conflict with any of our established schedules, etc. I've kind of always wanted to do a Padoru version of whatever Fate cosplays I do, Count of Monte Cristo, Iskandar, etc. And I think that Christmas themed con could be fun, but again, maybe just the initial backlash might wear off as time goes on. Oh, there you are. Actually, no. I'm not going to save state this. Yeah, I'm going to go and save state this. I got to find him at least twice to get both chips, but if I don't get one, then I'll just try again. The initial backlash might wear off, but I do think that we'll see when the time comes, is just the best way I can describe it. I'm hoping that we are in a position where we can go next year. It's just going to depend on what both of our families have involved, because, you know, me and Bree, we take turns with holidays. It's like 1 year one family gets Thanksgiving, the other family gets Christmas, etc., and we just alternate back and forth. So it's just going to depend on where things are in that regard.
Yeah, I totally get that. I will be right back, everybody. I'm going to take care of a thing, and I will rejoin momentarily.
Right. We will be here. When did they add the ability to run away? They added it in Battle Network 2, actually. So yeah, that was a good thing that they added, because it really helps things. It really does. Okay, in order to change up the RNG a little bit, hopefully hit him more, I'm actually gonna wait for him to move. They do also give you the ability to run away in the Operate Shooting Star remake for Nintendo DS, which is honestly the definitive way to play Battle Network 1 at this point. But it's also one of the least accessible ways, legally speaking, because it so far has not had a re-release. Like, it's only been on Nintendo DS. I appreciate it, Bree, but not at the moment. Alright, got Electman V3, now just gotta get V2. Gonna go ahead and erase that off my list of things to get. I went to the wrong area. Whoops. Alright, so where is Bomb Man located? Or Bomb Man V2, rather. Okay, V1 is over there, so I need to backtrack after I get the next Electman chip. Alright, he's in Internet Area 11, which I was on my way to earlier, but I backtracked. Okay. Yeah, sorry, this is not the most... Oh, no, this isn't Battle Network 3. No. 3 was much more well-designed than the first game was. Sorry, this isn't exactly the most riveting live stream ever. That's just how Battle Network 1 goes, though. I guess you could say I'm showing you how it goes, so you don't have to experience it, unless you just want to unlock all the trophies in the Legacy Collection and such. Which means that... Oh, there you are again. Which means that I'm going to have to redo this on the Switch version without save states. Oh, this is good right off the bat. Alright. This might be too good, so I need to get hit a good few times so I don't just immediately get an S rank, because I need like 7 to 9, I think. What am I dodging for? I need to get hit. I need to be struck by lightning for this. Alright, that should do it. Nope, not quite. Got hit one too many times. Alright, so, MegaMaster. I don't know if we've met in person yet, but, since you're a friend of CJ, I'd like to ask, do you have any particular thoughts on how this year went as a con? Do you have any, fun stories to share? Do you have any, just anything to add to the conversation, you know, while CJ's away? No, you do not get to recover MegaMan. And I don't get his battle chip, apparently. Excuse me. No, and no, this isn't con crud. I kicked up a bunch of dust, you know, digging around the storage building of my house when we were getting ready to go to the con. So it started before we even got there, and it only got worse as the weekend went on. So it's not exactly con crud. It's just sinus infection. I've already got some medicine for it. It's on its way out, but it's still being persistent. I definitely agree, Bree. It was utter chaos, like, at least for the first 30 minutes. Because, again, there was, like, next to no policing how many people go inside. And, again, like, last year they had to, like, let people in at different rates to make sure that everyone had a chance to get in and didn't run each other over. None of that this year. Went last year, had a good time, opted not to go this year. I don't know if I'd say you're missing much. I guess it depends on what you look for at con. Had a pretty good time with everyone, especially Saturday night. Trying to remember Saturday was particularly memorable. That's when we did our Star Wars cosplays. Me and Bree did. I recently revamped my Darth Maul outfit, and what else did we do on Saturday? That's one thing I could say about this year is I didn't find it particularly memorable compared to a lot of them, because like last year we put together an impromptu Star Wars photo shoot like at the con itself. Like we actually put it together just by rounding up bystanders, and we had like a big massive turnout for that. There we go, MegaMan V2, nice. Oh yeah, the J Fashion show that was really cool. Got a bunch of pictures of that. The MegaMan panel was honestly probably the high point for me, just because I've been wanting to host that panel for a while. Okay, yeah, I think I actually need to log out, then log back in, and go the opposite direction. Melted Blood Grand Finals have been upgraded from con bathroom to a panel. You know, that... I wish I could have been there for... like, watching the progression of all that, because CJ's told me stories, but I didn't get the chance to experience it myself until seeing Melty Blood, like, played at the panel. And it just, I kind of love the idea of just carrying around a computer, just setting up and just throwing down. And that's honestly, him setting up Melty Blood at the panel, you know, last couple of years, that's what inspired me to have the PvP for MegaMan Battle Network 6 at my own panel. It's like, yeah, we'll do a kind of brief-ish like franchise overview. Then we'll just have people fight it out for prizes, and it was a lot of fun. Melty Fight panel as an audience participation segment. Yep, good stuff. Good stuff. Just gonna play it. Just gonna play everywhere. It's people will get Doom to run on anything, whereas multiplayer fans will get their game to play literally anywhere. It's like someone will be running Doom on ATM, and then standing on top of the ATM is someone playing multiplayer. That's just kind of the way that I take that. Start watching a lot of the online tournaments during lockdown. Yep, the M1 Grand Prix. That honestly probably kept everything alive, and that's probably why they put forth the effort to make sure that we had online PvP for the Switch version. I just kind of wish that it was easier to find matchups like on the official Legacy Collection and not just the not just via Tango. It's like, no disrespect to anyone who uses Tango, but like we paid for the Switch versions. We paid for the online memberships and all that, so we like to get some use out of it. Alright, I think I'm back in the right... I think I'm heading back in the right direction now. Let me see. This route, yeah, that takes me over there. So. I used to play, yeah, the Pt3. Yeah. I still was amazed, you know, back even 10 years ago when they were able to figure out a way to get the Game Boy Advance's built-in wireless adapter to actually, or they were able to use the programming for the wireless adapter. Really, Skullman? You just completely missed? Alright. Just able to do that to connect over the internet. It just kind of blew my mind. Dante's Plays absolutely destroyed the network. Yep, I watched that. I watched that, and I was offering the, like, the Edmund laughs from the back of the room. I actually cosplay Edmund Dantes from Fate. I was not wearing that this year because I had to change cosplays mid-con to get to the Fate panel, but I did decide to bring back Casual Iskandar this year. So no Count of Monte Cristo this year. Big anime studio guests like the Fate stuff. Yeah, you know, that's actually a very good point. Like a lot of the voice actors and maybe some of the animation directors and stuff, because Momocon was absolutely killing it with the guests this past year. Because you have people like freaking Don Bluth on the guest list, so I could definitely see an argument for that. That would have been really cool. Yeah, he attacked the one in the middle when that one wasn't even on screen. He attacked where he was going to be, but you know, it doesn't work that way. Let me double check, make sure I'm even in the correct area. Okay, I think I'm in area... No, I'm in area 9. Because... Yes, I'm in area 9. I need to go this way. Another thing about these guys right here, fun fact, Battle Network 1 has no guard-piercing chips. Meaning that I cannot do max damage to this guy until he lets his guard down. I can't even do max damage to a Metar until they lift their heads up. Because even though in the later games, Skullman would absolutely be considered a guard-breaking chip, that doesn't exist in Battle Network 1. If you have a guard, you have a guard. I think there are very few exceptions with this. Oh yeah, yeah, when they had the Fate Grand Order pop-up, or not pop-up, the stand where they had like the motorcycle, the glowing Excalibur Morgan, all that. That was a really good time. Alright, so... Okay, these guys again. I already got these guys battle chips, so I don't need to worry about getting a high rank on them. Just gonna go ahead and save, because I don't think I'm gonna get just deleted by anything by accident, but I just kind of got a sense of foreboding for some reason, so I'm going ahead and saving. Yeah, the fake Grand Order duel tables were the cards were really cool, even though I don't think those actually like have official release over here. Okay, got 1 HP memory to make me slightly stronger. I need to find a good place to farm some Zenny. I think it's probably just gonna have to be a green mystery data reset kind of thing. Sorry guys, AWA went to the panel, Professor Utonium. Well, thank you so much for stopping by. That really made our day to see that we had a really good turnout for that. Let's see. Check the map again real quick. Alright. So I'm in Internet Area 10. And I think I need to be in Internet Area 11. Yeah, Bomb Man's in Internet Area 11. So this route. Nope, not that route. Go back. I went completely the wrong direction. Don't need to go to Internet Area 16 yet. I'm kind of working my way through the internet so I can just do it all in one sweep, instead of having to backtrack and all that. Alright, I'm actually going to pause this for a sec. I need to get some more water. My throat's still a little bit scratchy. Alright, sorry for the delay. I am back. Is CJ back yet, or is he still gone? I don't hear him, so I'm going to guess he's still gone. I think the Discord call's still open, though. Perhaps. Yeah, the Discord call's still open. Alright, let me get my map pulled back up. It's always a good idea to see in these games. Yep. Now, I will give this game one thing I like about it over the others is that it doesn't, like, you don't... How do I even begin this sentence? Your HP automatically recharges in between battles. Damage you take does not carry over into the next battle. Which you know, for a seasoned RPG player, that is fine. You know, for it to not carry over. Oh, there you are. That's one thing I like about 1 as opposed to the other games, is that your HP recharges in between battles, and you don't have to carry around healing items. But of course, that's because there are no healing items, and they. What an odd number to stop my HP at, 617, when I had 660 exactly. That's another thing. It's like the armors in this game, they reduce damage by like a percentage, so it like, I guess that one ended in a 5. And then when they try to divide it, they're like, oh, let's just round up and make it 3 instead of 5 when they cut it in half. Right. So this should be the area where I find Bomb Man. If it's not this one, it's the next one. So I'm in Internet Area 11 right now. Yes, it's this one. So let's go up and talk to this guy. Gotta have a high busting level to pass through here. Now, one thing about Battle Network 1, at very least, you don't always have to completely leave the internet and then come back. You can actually encounter, you know, bosses' random encounters after deleting their stationary encounter. So that's good for the sake of this playthrough, at least. Now, in this playthrough of the game, I actually don't remember if I made my way all the way to the back of the internet area. I might have, but I also might not have. Because you can actually explore well beyond what you're supposed to. At the pace you progress the story, and unlock just a lot of new weapons that you shouldn't have at that point. Because as long as you have the skill to just survive the encounters, because again, remember, you're not forced to be held in place like a lot of other turn-based RPGs, you can actually survive a lot of these battles through skill and not just luck and RNG. So you can actually come back like pretty stacked with a lot of high-powered battle chips and a lot of money to buy new ones. So CJ, do you have any particularly fun memories or stories from this past, from this past weekend? You know, to kind of lighten the mood a little bit. You got anything especially cool happen?
I am so glad you asked.
Yeah, because
I was just about to go there, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, because I didn't want this to be a complete downer stream. I didn't want it to be just we're complaining because we're grumpy. No, it's I want to take the good with it, because I love going to AWA. It's what I look forward to every year. Like that's the big event that I wanted to go to.
Oh yeah, it is my favorite con every year too. All right, so I wrote a text review blog thing about it. I'm gonna pull that up just as my notes here really quick, because quite a few more people read that than I thought would. So a lot of people read it and informed themselves on what I was talking about. Did you have a chance to read it by chance?
I gave it a skim, but I can't remember any specific beats from it, other than some things talking about the con venue and some of the changes that had to be made just due to the different world we live in now than pre-2020. But
yeah, most of that's in like the prologue.
Yeah, I did give it at least a skim, even though I didn't like read the entire thing all the way down. Excuse me. Gotta start cutting the mic off whenever I have to cough. There we go. Yeah, never take any damage against the viruses. Yeah, that's yeah. If you don't want to die, just don't get hit.
So yeah, Thursday was just the check-in process, and then the Marietta Diner, like I told you about. Marietta Diner is fantastic. It is not, strictly speaking, an AWA tradition, because I typically do not like to leave the con venue during the con to get food for long periods of time like that, because I feel like I'm missing out on something, and for an event that happens once a year, it doesn't seem wise to me to leave the venue. Like, some people like to go to the movies during a con. I'm like, what in the hell? Why can that not wait until after the con? Like, the movie's not going anywhere. But Marietta Diner was fantastic. And then Friday, the very first thing we had was the Evangelion panel hosted by Cody, and he did a fantastic job. He was mainly talking about Evangelion spin-off work, some of which are official, some of which are not official, and a lot of them I had never heard of, and they were very entertaining. A lot of them were comedy based, and some of them were like basically softcore anti in as well. So quite a variety of different spin-offs there.
Yeah, why would you go to the movies during a con? Devin asks. I absolutely agree on that. I will say, my first AWA and a couple of others afterward, we have like gone to actually restaurants that are like around the venue, if not in there. Like one of my most favorite memories from my first AWA was actually going to the local Steak and Shake in cosplay. Like it was just a ton of fun. That's actually like AWA was my first big con. I'm pretty sure I've told you that before. And in my quest to always get the same big buzz that I got that first time, I've been chasing that same feeling ever since, and I just still haven't recaptured it, you know. However many years later it's been. Time marches on. But, I honestly don't need...
Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, I don't even remember what hotel we actually stayed at that year, because that was my first year going. I was staying with other friends. But, it was, that memory in particular has always stuck with me. We got pictures, the whole 9 yards. Really fun. But so the next thing on your list for really fun things.
After the Ava panel was my panel pretty shortly after that, and you got to go to that one. You got to see part of it. I decided to cold open the panel with the Tsukihime remake intro, which was pretty cool because there were some Tsukihime cosplayers in the audience. And I think they were relieved to see that I was doing a general Type Moon panel and not just another Fate Grand Order trivia panel.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
But I still detected a hint of apprehension where they were, like, expecting more, like... They didn't go to the photo shoot, even though I've seen them before and I know they know about the photo shoot, and I think the reason is they just expect the photo shoot to be all fake cosplayers. And I'm like, no, please, you guys are welcome there. Like, don't like go off and do your own thing and avoid the Type Moon photo shoot because you think it's going to be all fake people. Like, we want the Tsukihime cosplayers there too, but I don't appreciate the mindset that is like, because you went out of your way to read such an obscure visual novel like Tsukihime, that you get to have this smug air of authority and act like Fate isn't good. Hopefully we're getting the localization of the Tsukihime remake here soon, the beginning of next year. So hopefully it'll be a lot more mainstream after that, and people can actually read the remake without having to rely on a fan translation.
Yes.
And then I showed the 10th anniversary video that I made last year for last year's panel, actually, and never got to show. And I decided to just release it online because I was tired of waiting for people to see it.
Yeah.
So people have been able to watch it online for quite a while now, but this is the first time that I got to show it during the panel. And the reception to it was great because there was a lot of people who were like, I could hear lots of like oohs and ahs and lots of like, oh my god, there I am, like kind of comments, and then people just being really blown away by all the crazy things we've done in the past decade. And got a big round of applause after I played that, and I felt really good about that because that felt like kind of the pat on the back of like, you've done a good job over the past decade.
You have.
And that people really appreciate all the effort I put into this community, and it just felt really good. But the rest of the panel was pretty par for the course. We were talking about all the new Type Moon stuff that's coming out. We had Sam and Jonathan on there, new guests we hadn't had on there before, and they not only did he say it a lot during the panel, but there was that became an inside joke from throughout the con.
I think I might steal that if I'm talking about like a game or like a mecha or something, not about like an actual person, but say this game was really well designed. Smash, things like that. Just like ironically say it.
It's kind of a portmanteau of the Markiplier Smash or Pass Pokemon thing he did.
Yeah,
he's like,
that set the internet on fire for a little bit.
Pass, Smash. And so we were kind of doing like a play on that, and it became like this reoccurring joke throughout the weekend where we kept saying it over and over and over again. And I'll come back to that in a second. But oh god.
Megamaster says that they went to the diner to Sanji. That was hilarious. Yeah, I actually wanted to find a local restaurant that serves curry and go there as Lan, because Lan Akari's favorite food in canon is like curried rice. And there's like one episode where he goes on his tour just trying like all these different types of curry. And by the end of it, he does that cartoon thing where he eats so much that his like vest busts open. And I was like, I'm heavy set. I'm not like, I do not match the body type of this character at all. So I could say I'm just Land after eating way too much curry. It's canon.
Yeah.
Just
yeah. In the blog post, if you open it, you'll see the picture of him in his Sanji cosplay there.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, it was pretty funny because like Sanji's hair is not blonde; it's like bright ass yellow, and so he had the loudest.
Whoever played the count, they utterly destroyed that Neko arc.
Oh, I loved that was such a good match because we picked, again, as we always do, we picked two novices, two people that had never played the game before, and pitting them against each other with like not even a tutorial, like the basic understanding of like button mash here, button mash there, and while it was over really fast, man, was it exciting because it was. I volunteered at a Stolfo cosplayer, which I thought was pretty on brand as Charlemagne. And they picked Neko Arc, and then Jonathan volunteered a Ryogi Shiki cosplayer from Cardinal Kyokai, and she picked Edmond Dantes. And it was a lot of back and forth, like both players were doing like special moves and stuff, and I was like, wow, this is crazy that they're doing so good. And then, in a major upset, the Shiki cosplayer takes it. She was so sweet, so I was so happy she got to win the Blu-ray. I mean, even if she's not like that big of a Fate fan or doesn't care about Heaven's Feel, like that's a pretty huge prize to win because those things are not cheap.
Oh yeah. Now, was a little bit sad that I didn't get picked to get up there and play, but you did kind of establish to the room that we knew each other, so I can understand that would have been like, oh, you're showing favoritism, or that kind of thing.
That is true. I don't think I necessarily thought of that, but yeah, I did like directly call you out earlier in the panel when we were talking about Aprilia, I think. And I had to remind myself that like the whole Aprilia thing with you was not out of like, it was more of a morbid curiosity that turned into a genuine appreciation than it was a like you didn't start off liking Aprilia, right?
I still don't like Aprilia. I like Oath Under Snow.
Down. Huh?
I still don't like Aprilia as a whole. I like Oath Under Snow, and I like I like some of the more recent chapters, but I still don't like the entire thing as a collective. But the problem is you can't pick and choose because there's too much. So
I wish you could. When is the Aprilia recut?
Yeah, I've actually been considering doing that. I don't even think I'd post it to YouTube. I'd just like post it somewhere, be like, "Hey, if you don't want to sit through all the loli, or if you want like a better redo of this." Did I need that chip? I think I did. Let me double check if it was on my list. Nah, I think I already had it. Oh well, it's always good to have another one. But yeah, Oath Under Snow, great. Nameless Girl was pretty good. And I do need to catch up because the story actually did get good, but again, I don't enjoy the entire thing as a whole. Trolls quite often not about his hate of Prison. No, my disgust for it is, for several of the elements, is completely genuine. So, MegaMaster says that it'll be released whenever he gets around to it. I refuse to let Joey play in fear of breaking the Joy-Con.
He's also like the Melty Blood guy, so you wouldn't want him to play because he would just demolish all of us.
Fair point. I did think it was hilarious how Edmund's over here throwing all these laser blasts and Neko Arc's literally too short to get hit by them.
We were having we were having that conversation with Joey in the hotel room after the panel because he was explaining how a lot of games, a lot of multiplayer games have like the gimmick character, and the gimmick of them is something that ends up being like kind of a, you think that it creates an advantage because of the asymmetry of the fight, but in reality it ends up being something that's kind of a beginner's trap. So the size of NecoArc is very similar to like
Odd Job from GoldenEye.
Exactly. That's exactly the analogy he made, as where it's like you think that they have an unfair advantage because of the difference in size of the hitbox, but it ends up being more of a beginner's trap that players can account for, and then it becomes negligible.
So this character here is Pharaohman.exe, and he as a character has no animations, and he only attacks using his coffins and various traps, and now he's dead. Because he is a post-game boss, he doesn't actually get any cutscene in this game. There's next to no story with the post-game for this one. It's all just hidden bosses that get no dialogue. But don't worry, when we get to battle number 2, a lot of these characters will get their own dialogue and spotlight. Not all of them, but most of them. And
but yeah, what did you think of the Fate panel? Do you think it went okay?
Yeah, I thought it went pretty well. I will admit I do miss seeing like all the old familiar faces, even if I didn't remember their names. Truth be told, but the team that you've had for years always had such big energy with them, like very passionate. Especially the Melted Blood player. What was his name again?
Joey,
yeah. He was always kind of like chaotic and passionate is the way I would describe the vibes he gave off, and I loved it every time.
One of the things that is kind of a give and take is like with the old panel crew, we didn't always agree on everything, and so there would be moments where we would be like, hold on, that's bullshit, I don't agree with that. Like we would like kind of argue a little bit.
Yeah.
And that made for some kind of interesting moments. But the three of us up there now, we mostly agree on everything, but there are moments where, like when we talk about Grand Order, I literally just go to Sam and Jonathan and I'm like, all right, you guys take it from here. I haven't the fuckest clue what's going on. Like I know like story stuff because they tell me, but like gameplay stuff, incomprehensible. I am completely lost.
Understandable. I've actually...
Yeah, so then there wasn't really a whole lot going on until the Fate photo shoot, so we could relax a little bit on Friday. And like I said, the photo shoot was good. We had one of the smallest turnouts we've ever had, but again, like I said, there was externalities of the con itself that I think caused that, not so much a loss of interest in Fate in general. At least not any more so over the last year. It's more so just the other issues presented by the con and the location. But it went fine. A part of Charlemagne's armor broke that I need to fix. I might do that this weekend. And that's kind of it for Friday. Trying to think what we did after that.
I showed you the loot that I got from the Super Happy Fun sale. I went to Comic-Con High the previous month. I was about to say last month, but we're in November now. And I got a Knights of the Old Republic 1 for Xbox, which I've already beaten it on Switch, but I do need to play it on Steam as well. Oh yeah, I forgot. The gimmick about Bomb Man here is that his bombs explode in cross-shaped flames, and they can ignite other bombs, and it can lead to chain reactions if you're not ready for them. I just took a lot of damage.
That's a lot of damage.
Yeah. But, so then when I was in the Super Happy Fun sale, I found Knights of the Old Republic 2, and that's a game that I'm going to get around to playing every version of so I can compare and contrast. Hopefully make a video on it in the future. If not, I'll just play it and enjoy it. A bunch of people really liked how Darth Maul was revamped, which I am greatly appreciative of that. He's not... I call him 95% Darth Maul right now because there are still some improvements that need to be made. But I was comfortable with where he was at to bring him to the con, and he's a big hit like always. And it made me happy to see just how many people wanted to stop for a picture with Casual Rider, because I have a lot of fun whenever I cosplay Skandar, just because he is a big fan favorite, and rightfully so, because he's like one of the best characters in Fate Zero. And even though I was just doing the casual, t-shirt version, a bunch of people were like, "Hey," and I was like, "Yes, my people."
Yeah, it was definitely good to see you bring that one back.
Oh yeah, like I love the energy that I can bring with it, and I actually did manage to get, I was able to have like some. Well, yeah, that was before my voice was just completely destroyed over the weekend, so I could throw out some of the iconic quotes and some of the like bombasticness. I don't know if that's a word, but with how how Ryder is. That's very much in character with him. I was able to actually deliver a little bit with that. This
I'm channel my inner Patrick Sites here.
Yeah.
Or no, he's not Patrick Sites. It's Jameson Price.
Wow, Devin, really? 95% Darth Maul is probably better than the 50% Obi-Wan left him with.
Hey.
So.
True.
Oh, man. Ouch. Oh, give me some aloe vera. Oh, that hurt. That burned.
But yeah, I think that was kind of it for Friday. Like I think we got dinner at the food trucks, and I did some roaming around. But after like 7-ish on maybe 8-ish on Friday, we stayed in. I think I ran out of the room a couple more times to go find some people. There was a friend of mine who was cosplaying Saber, who I didn't get a chance to see at the photo shoot, and I went and found her and got a picture with her.
Good.
While everybody was in the room playing Jackbox games.
Yeah,
Michelle just walked in, and she's baffled by my boy dinner over here, which is it's a peanut butter and jelly bagel.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. Protein. But yeah, we went back to our hotel room late before my buddy Sawyer wanted to go to the rave on Saturday. We played Jackbox 2. If you get the right crew together, Quiplash is a ton of fun, and I really want to play Talking Points with some of my other friends.
Oh my god, dude! On Saturday night we played it again. I laughed harder than I have laughed in my entire life. I laughed so hard that I genuinely thought I was going to either suffocate or throw up. I was in very near danger of throwing up from laughing so hard. It was dire.
Clinton laughed so hard in our entirety of dating. For 7 years, I've never heard him laugh that hard.
Well, I'd like to know what it was if you can share it.
So it was because a Mega Master over here in chat kept putting Smash as one of the prompts. And what was the game we were playing? What was the specific? Yeah, so it was Quiplash. So like, there was a moment where I'm trying to remember how the game works. Like it asks you to describe something.
Well, yeah, Quiplash is like the whole fill in the blank thing. And
and so the two people that were allowed to submit like an answer for it was me and him, and it goes, his pops up and says Smash, and mine pops up and says Smash at the same time, and I was like, I bust out laughing, and I like high-fived him, and I said there was no way it was gonna be anything else, dude. I knew it was gonna be Smash, because if he didn't do it, somebody else was, but it just so happened to be that we had our turn at the same time and both put in Smash unprompted. We had no idea. It was so funny. And then there was another one where it's like guess the, like fill in the blank kind of thing, and it was trying to guess a person, because it gives you like the very vague descriptor of who the person is, and people were guessing and getting it wrong. And then I'm kind of jumping ahead a little bit. On Friday when we were playing it, I wasn't playing. I was just watching because I was very tired.
Yes.
And I was just watching everybody play it. And there was I'm trying to remember what the question was, where everybody was guessing and guessing wrong, and I'm just watching the prompt, and I just throw out an answer, and it ended up being correct. And it was the most random thing where I wasn't even playing, and I said, "It's this, isn't it?" And somebody answers and got it right. And so that kind of set a precedent for me actually playing on Saturday night. And the moment where there was a moment where the answer was John Cena, and I got it right. And that was like comedic timing that I could not replicate under any circumstances, because of all the memes around John Cena and everything.
Of course. And
the fact that there is that one GDQ Pokemon speed run with the 151 run, where they complete the full Pokedex using glitches and everything.
Yes. And
they named 2 Pokemon with naming incentives John Cena in that run. And so John Cena is just funny to me as an answer to a quiz like that. And the fact that it was correct, I was like, there's no fucking way I got that right on a shitpost answer like that. Oh yeah, it was Mean Girls. They were trying to figure out what the movie was, and I was like, it's Mean Girls, and sure enough, Michelle's the one that got the answer correctly. Yeah, so I was actually dying playing that. It is indescribable. Like, it is literally one of those you had to have been there kind of moments. I was actively dying. It was so fucking funny.
Well, I'm glad you didn't die. I'm glad you're still alive.
Yeah, I mean, I would have died happy. Yeah, Saturday we I got up in the morning and recorded that B-roll that you took part in. And we didn't really have a whole lot going on until the Final Fantasy photo shoot, which was at 2. And that was a lot of fun. I reached out to the person who organized that today as part of my, hey, we need to unfuck the cosplay groups kind of thing, and to get the pictures from it. And so I'm talking to her right now. Had a good time with that. And then we had some time to kill between when that ended and when the Fire Emblem shoot began, because the Fire Emblem shoot didn't begin until 6. And so I changed into my Fire Emblem cosplay around 4-ish, and we had some time to kill, which was kind of nice. I got to walk around in it for a little bit. And I originally had to accommodate the convention. The con asked me to move the Fire Emblem photo shoot from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. And when we get to the photo shoot location, I realized which group I had accommodated. And it was One Piece. And so there was like 200 people on the staircase all cosplaying for One Piece. And I was like, oh boy, that's the thing. And I'm like, I'm glad I did that, because had I not done that and this massive group didn't have their captain, they would have been really alienated, and that would have been really hella rude. So I'm glad that it worked out that way. But they got every single minute of their hour on that staircase. Like, I had to go up and remind the shoot captain, be like, hey, it's 6 o'clock. As soon as 6 o'clock rolls around, we need this, blah blah blah. Because it wasn't so much that I was worried about us running out of time, because we weren't going to use the whole hour. It was more so that we were running out of daylight, because you got to think, like, it's almost I think daylight savings time is this Sunday, right?
I honestly don't know. I don't really keep track of it. Just whenever it happens,
I'm like
my phone lets me know.
98% sure that it is.
But yeah. So like the alcove over there, is there more than one spot over there for a photo shoot, or is it just that one spot in the middle? Because there's like I think it's Jujutsu Kaisen photo shoot was going on, and they went over into the. Are we supposed to be exactly where you are? Because I'm not entirely certain. So they kept going over. I was like, well, there is technically enough room, so we'll just set up over here next to y'all and just go ahead and get started since everyone's here. So.
If I were you, I would have double checked the shoot schedule spreadsheet and seen if that was even an official shoot, because I kind of doubt that it was. But
they also were like 15 times bigger than us, so I don't know if we could have tried to muscle our way in on that. And
I mean, get some. If that does happen, if you have like an unofficial shoot that is taking your official space and you book that slot, get somebody in staff involved. Have their asses kicked out of there. Like, you don't waste your time. That you did your due diligence and submitted the photo shoot like you're supposed to. Like, don't get punished for that.
Right. Well, again, there was enough room. Like, we were able to. If there wasn't enough room, I probably would have said or done something. But there was enough room on that strip for everyone. There's actually room on the other side too, but we didn't need that. Just is what it is. But I'm glad they had fun. We got all the photos we needed, and it was kind of a nice thing to do, like the last thing before we leave. So we just finished that up, and then we headed on.
Saturday night was it was all of us in our hotel room and some of the other members of the Fire Emblem group that came with us back up to the room, and we ordered Da Vinci's Pizza, which is fantastic if you've never had it. There's like exactly 4 locations for it, and what's funny is one of them is in Midtown and delivers to MomoCon. One of them is in Smyrna and delivers to AWA. One of them is in Dunwoody, and the 4th one is within walking distance of my house. So I can get it locally as well. It's really funny. But it was good as shit, and I was big time dying of death, laughing at dumb jokes like Hans and Cody decided to cold open the Ava panel with a HIV/AIDS PSA that was done by the voice actors of Shinji and Asuka from Evangelion.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And so there was like some jokes I throw in the Jackbox things, like where it's like why was the party canceled, and my answer was like the pool was closed due to HIV positive or something like that. But oh god. Then of course there's like, packing the car and everything on Saturday night in the middle of all the partying. You're trying to like get your shit to the car while everybody's still like rocking and having a good time.
Oh, yeah.
And being on the 3rd floor was just incredible, because not only were we down the hall from Brad's group, but we could take the stairs down there. We never had to fight with the elevators, except for when we had lots of luggage and everything. And then when I was taking my big sword to the car, the new ultimate weapon I had made for Orin for my Final Fantasy cosplay.
Yes.
I had to wait on an elevator for that, because I didn't want to take it through the crowd on the 1st floor and risk somebody bumping into it and breaking it.
Understandable.
So that was fun. And then Sunday was pretty laid back. We got checked out of the room, and me and Michelle were doing our Yu-Gi-Oh thing, and we ran into a Yu-Gi-Oh artist / content creator / cosplayer that we follow, who we've had kind of like a parasocial relationship with up until now, because I found her on Instagram, and when I told her who I was, she was like, "Oh, are you this guy?" and sends me a picture that she had taken of me at MomoCon in 2019. I didn't realize who she was. And I'm like, "Yeah, no, you've met me then in that case." And then we had this like just parasocial relationship for like 3 years after that, where we would just talk online, and she had a Discord server and would occasionally stream. She is a massive Transformers fan as well. And so the first live stream that I did, where I was capturing footage for the Armada game, I don't know if you remember that. She was in chat for that stream.
I didn't catch the stream for that one, but I did. I have seen the video of your review of the game several times.
Yeah,
it's good stuff.
But this was the first time I was actually able to have a conversation with her in person. And she's very sweet. She's super grateful to have met us. She's also needless to say, a big fan of Yu-Gi-Oh! And a big fan of 5Ds. So either is Jack. I'm sure she appreciated that. And then we just kind of, did our thing, wandered the dealer's room. Got to say goodbye to everybody. Got to hang out with quite a lot of people that day, including yourself. And just make sure we saw everybody off before everybody had to go home. And I think that's it. Am I forgetting anything from Sunday? I don't think so. Again, if you look at the blog post, you can see the pictures that I included in the blog post, and there are some pictures of my little group there, all my little boglins, so you can kind of see the people that I was rooming with.
Oh, that's not what I meant to click. I'm trying to recap the events in order. Am I from my end of things? Okay, I think Bomb Man. Like, I'm trying to see how his AI moves, because this is getting a little frustrating.
While you're doing that, I can tell another very cursed story.
Yeah, that's fine. Go ahead.
I'm going to give you brain worms. I'm going to inflict you with a brain poison you're never going to be able to get rid of.
I've had worse.
And I'm doing this because it's fun, so have fun with the brain poison. Hopefully you are a, ground-type Pokemon or whatever that's resistant to it. So, here we go. So, one of our... I don't know how best to describe this. One of our friends that we're rooming with grew up with a family who's Italian and has certain, like, I guess you could say traditional associations with food and how it's prepared, right?
Yes.
So it's very funny to come up to her and say things like, is a hot dog a sandwich? Or is cereal soup? And so our like background noise we listened to fall asleep to was an entire podcast dedicated to solving these arguments. Have you heard of this stuff?
I've heard several people like try to answer this before, and you get a lot of really stupid, arguments to be made. Like, some people say that the ocean is soup. I'm not touching that one with 50-foot pole, but I don't find them entertaining. I find them kind of just dumb and silly.
Well, guess what? You're on trial right now. Is cereal a soup?
I plead the fifth.
Okay. What about so there's several of these. They're so goddamn stupid. There's like our Pop-Tarts ravioli.
No, a Pop-Tart's a calzone.
Is and then there's one that's like the Wellingtons. Jonathan, what was the Wellingtons thing? Like everything is either a Wellington or a not a ravioli, but like everything is a Wellington or a These conversations are so cursed.
I don't know if I'm actually going to be able to get...
Pop-Tarts are not a calzone.
Right, so based on...
Devin, you'll probably get a kick out of this. It is the Good Mythical Morning podcast.
Ear Biscuits. I thought that sounded
familiar. Huh?
Ear Biscuits and Mythical Kitchen. I had a feeling that I heard like they shameless plug that tagline so much in a lot of their videos.
Yeah, so they have a whole podcast called it's called Hot Dog is a Sandwich, and each episode is diving into one of these stupid arbitrary definitions of terms. Michelle hates it here.
Alright, I actually might have to retry this fight against Bomb Man just because of how the luck of the draw has been going. I'm not getting the right combos that I need to actually... That one was my fault. I walked into the path of his bomb. The cool thing is that you can actually use fire-type abilities to blow up his own bombs before he kicks them, but I don't have any of those in my arsenal at the moment, just because I haven't needed them.
So since you won't engage in my stupid food conversation, I'm gonna ask you a different question. Did you play any spooky games for Halloween?
Not really. I want to say we did something, but I don't remember. I thought I kicked around an idea of. I thought I kicked around an idea of playing something, but I just ended up not. And I suppose, like I said, I've been fighting this science junk the last few days, so it's left me a bit fatigued.
Yeah, I bet you there's some horror-themed MegaMan ROM hacks.
Oh, I haven't found any actual ROM hacks, but the Halloween special we were doing, which is still ongoing because of time constraints, is there's a bunch of MegaMan creepypastas out there. We've been doing readings of those and like giving our thoughts on them and all that. Most of them are from about 10 years ago, and a lot of them haven't aged very well. But it's fun to look back and see how things have progressed. We're not here to like completely just tear anybody a new one. We're just like, yeah, here's some constructive criticism, as constructive as we can be.
Sure. I actually have a pretty big backlog of horror games. I'm not gonna, well, not a big backlog, but there's some I haven't finished. Like, shame on me, I finally got like a used copy of the Resident Evil 2 remake. Haven't touched it. I don't think I've even installed it on my PS4. And yeah, huge shame on me for that one because I've been wanting to play that. And then me, Michelle, and Shannon last night were playing a little indie horror. Well, it's not quite indie, but it's a little low-budget horror series that I really like. Again, I'm not a big horror game fan, but this series I picked up on a whim, and I've just found it so charming. It's called Yomawari, and it is a little, like, 2.5D top-down survival horror game where you play as a little girl roaming through a city at night that has a bunch of yokai spirits everywhere. Very, very cool art design. Very simple gameplay. You're just running away from monsters. And we finally finished the first game last night and started on the second one, and I'm actually playing the third one casually right now.
Well, I hope you're enjoying them. I do remember a couple years ago we actually did Dead Rising as our Halloween special, and we have been making a point to work through all the games in the series. I finally got a copy of Dead Rising 3, some months back, and no, move. Okay, finally got Dead Rising 3, but we haven't had time to play it yet for a variety of reasons. But it is in the near-ish future.
Yeah. I remember hearing not so good things about Dead Rising 4.
I honestly can't vouch because I honestly can't vouch because I haven't played it yet. A lot of the criticism I've heard is just that it broke formula too much. Like, there's no more 72 hours. It became way more story driven, like to the point not just story, but it's like borderline cinematic, if that makes sense. Because like. Excuse me. One sec.
I'm guessing that it's like more open, like less open-ended and more linear.
Yes. That was. I've heard that was one of the criticisms of it, but again, I haven't played it, so I can't exactly vouch. Sorry, need to have a coughing fit.
Yeah, that is a day in the life of being me, I swear to God. I am constantly congested every single day. It's a huge problem, honestly.
Natalia has joined the chat. Horror thing reminds you of your desire to play some RPG Maker or horror games. Yeah, Al-Oni was one that I wanted to play years ago, but I just never got around to it. I could never get it to work on my computers back in the day when it was popular.
Yeah, RPG Maker games are honestly like where all of the innovation is as far as survival horror nowadays, and like that's some of Michelle's favorite games as well as like survival RPG Maker games. They're a very specific niche, but man, do they have some great stories and some diehard fans. And it's amazing what you can accomplish on a small budget like that.
Oh yeah.
I actually have a quite a bit of a fascination with a RPG Maker survival horror RPG because of a video that came out earlier this year. It's a game called Fear and Hunger, and I've been kind of addicted to watching a guy stream it and him going down the rabbit hole with the lore and everything. But it is not a game for the faint of heart. It has lots of incredibly dark themes, including lots of gore, lots of bodily dismemberment, and lots of sexual assault if you don't play the censored mod.
Well, that does certainly sound like a spook fest. And I really hate to do this since we just got a couple more people in the chat, but the stream's been going for 2 hours, and my throat is starting to betray me again, and since I'm not having any luck with getting Bomb Man's chip, I think that might be a good place for me to go ahead and call it for the night, and we'll resume this next time. Did get a good couple of chips here that I needed, just not quite all of them. This is still progressing very slowly.
Yeah, sounds good. Quick side note, chat member was talking about Amori, and that is a game that is also fantastic. I recently picked up a physical Switch copy of that for Michelle because she got invested in a Let's Player that played it recently.
Well, I wish you the best of luck with that one, and I hope that you and I both can find some time to just enjoy some games outside of just whatever we do for content creation, as well as just have time to chill in general. I'm actually starting a new job next week, so hopefully my schedule will be a bit better in the coming future. The pay is better, and the hours are looking better too. So, hoping that this will be a positive move for me. It was kind of cutting it close because it happened like right after AWA. And that actually was part of the, one of the, what's the word for it? That's one of the things I had to tell the supervisor when I was interviewing. I said, I won't be able to start till November hits because, you know, this happens every year. The room is in my name. I have like 4 people hinging on whether or not they go if I go. So that is, that's not negotiable. She's like, yeah, that's fine. Eve, Witch's House, and Rekinder. I never got to play any of those, but I did watch like Markiplier and Mudahar play through some of those. That's also where I first heard of Aoni in the past as well.
The best person to watch play the RPG horror games is Manly Badass Hero, who is a member of the Fate group.
Awesome. I still feel like that I need to potentially pull some strings and get you and Dark Arm Duelist in the same room.
Yeah.
If at all possible.
I also found it really funny that that guy who goes by Caleb.exe plays at my locals, plays Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah. So yeah, after this battle here, I'm going to go ahead and call it the night. Gonna tweak my folder a little bit before I try to challenge Bomb Man again. I'm gonna get his bombs to blow up in his own face. But we will save that for the next stream. I'm gonna go ahead and save state. Well, it was a great chatting with you, CJ. Remind me, I still got a couple of things about the con to tell you about. It's related to another project we're talking about, but that's for off camera. So,
oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you all for joining us tonight for this. Hopefully fun, cozy conversation, but also incredibly boring gameplay of trying to hunt battle chips in Battle Network 1's postgame. Just, I'm honestly just doing this just to get the footage for when I eventually do the full video retrospective breakdown and all that. And it gets kind of lonely just playing alone, so I like to have people to talk with. So, thank you all for stopping in, and we'll see you on the next live stream, and hopefully it will be in the next couple days instead of, you know, a couple months from now. So, again, thank you all, and we'll see you next time. Peace out.
Good luck and have fun.